What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Overwatch Coach, and today we have a Gold 1 Lucio on Ilios. So I had two games I could have picked from for this player. I had a Rialto game and an Ilios game, but, you know, Lucio on Ilios, that's a hard one to pass up. That's like probably the map to be a good Lucio on. So I figured we'd VOD review this one. Let's see. Let's get into his introduction here. He left a lot, like a lot. So I'm going to skim through and try to just touch on the important parts. So I feel like I am not horrible on Lucio. I've only been playing him for maybe a week and a half, and I was able to climb from Silver 3 to Gold 1 in that time. However, I do notice that I have bad habits, and I'm not entirely sure if I'm getting as much value out of playing him as I should. And then he leaves 3 points, and I'll just skim over these because he leaves like paragraphs on each one. So point 1 was positioning and movement, struggling to know when to push, finish off a DPS, seeking a kill on a support or a DPS aside from when my whole team pushes, but even worse is my static positioning. Okay, I mean, if you watch any of my VOD reviews, I think positioning is usually an issue for just about everybody. Like, positioning is always going to be something to clean up. There's always going to be mistakes made there, and I think that one's just becoming, I think, such a commonality at this point. It almost has to go without saying that that's going to be a weakness, especially if you're not playing on the upper tier level of games. Which is mainly what we're reviewing, is the lower tier level of games for the most part. Is point 2 is value versus a different hero pick. Okay, that one's fine because that one we always cover at the beginning of every round anyway. He says, I can't really tell if my Lucio play is valuable enough to justify playing him over someone like Kiriko. Okay. Point 3, mechanical skill is, okay, cleaning up English here, is my aim and movement what they should be. I try to just sort of spammy with primary. Feel like good amount of the duels that I take, but I'm still not win pretty much most of the duels. Okay, so yeah, I mean, these are usually things I cover in my VOD reviews anyway, so I'm not going to be too worried about all the text here that he left in his intro. So let's get into the team comp of it all. So both teams are running a sim. If the sims know what they're doing, it's a race to the point first, and team 2 has the advantage because there is a Lucio. And that's if they know what they're doing. If they don't, then I don't know what value they'll get out of their teleporter. But there is a trick on this map. Well, I don't know if I'd say it's a trick, but I'll just go over here quick and show it while I'm talking about it. But if you go out over here, weird. Go out over here. And this works on each side of the map, but you can put a teleporter roughly about right here. Obviously, you can go a little closer, and then you can teleport over here to about right here. It might land on the ledge. I can't really remember. It's been a little while since I played sim on this map, but point is that you can go from there to here. And then you just set up shop on the point, and you can play from the point. Now, if you wall ride over here, and you get to this spot before the enemy team does, and they are doing the same thing, think about all the boops you can get right here. But not everybody does that, so it's not like it's a guaranteed thing, but I just wanted to point that out. So usually when I used to be a Symmetra main for a little while, and when it's a race to a King of the Hill map, such as like this one, this one can be, it doesn't have to be, but it can be anyway. Having that Lucio speed boost to get the sim to the spot she wants to teleport to can be very beneficial. So I'm fine with the Lucio here. As far as the rest of the team comp goes, the only thing I feel like that could potentially be a little bit more valuable would be Mercy for the Sojourn. Aside from that, I don't really hate this team comp. I don't think I would even suggest you playing any other supports here, because they're not, I mean, not that you know this yet, but they're not running Ana, so Kiriko is not going to be of any major value. The only thing that I'm really seeing for a Kiriko value would be when the Cassidy throws out that magnetic grenade. I hate that ability. I hate the tracking part of it. It just bugs me. And if you're a Lucio player, you should share in some of that frustration that I am venting to you now, because yeah, that's an annoying thing to try to either wait until it's been used or try to bait out, which is almost not even worth trying to do, depending on positioning, of course. But sometimes you can get it to stick on a wall if you're kind of close to a corner or something. But yeah, I think frankly though, I think Lucio's a perfect and fine pick here. I'm not even going to suggest playing anything else. So let's get into the actual VOD here. Okay, so they're not doing the trick. Just out of curiosity, are they doing? No, they're not. No one's doing the trick. So I don't even know why I'm calling it a trick. I just think it's more valuable than what your sim is doing. Now so since we're not going that way, let's reevaluate this rollout. So if the sim puts the teleporter out of spawn, take the teleporter and then amp up your speed boost. Because right now you're just speeding yourself essentially, or is nobody taking the teleporter? Okay, nobody took the teleporter. So that's an ability that just got wasted. It's not necessarily, I mean, it's a little your fault, but this feels like an autopilot thing that a lot of people go through because they're just not used to playing with Symmetra, so the teleporter isn't like a second nature thing. But when you play with a sim, pay attention to where teleporters go and consider using them, because it is an advantage. So imagine you just came out of the teleporter, now you amp up your speed boost. Think of all the space, extra space that will be created off of that. So the one thing I would suggest doing here is either playing this high ground and kind of scouting and then pinging people over here or down in this area, or taking the virtual opposite high ground of what I just pointed out, and then just kind of waiting to see what kind of positioning they take versus what your team is going to take. I don't really like Lucios that are on the ground too much. Not to say you can't be, but you're susceptible to being picked by a sniper. Luckily, they don't have any of that. Okay, so now that you know they're up there, good. I see a ping, so that's good. A lot of these VODs that I've done, I never see this ping marker. I honestly I wasn't even confident that this ping marker even showed up in a VOD, because that's how little I see it. So I like that somebody is pinging. I don't know if that's you or somebody, but if that's not you, start pinging. Think of Lucio as a scout of sorts. I like to ping the heroes that I view as the hard carries to the opposing team, or supports that don't seem to be taking as much damage as maybe they should be. That's what I usually do. So yeah, like if you were on high ground right now, you could be kind of doing, like right now, you know where they are and you're shooting in the general direction, but you're missing everything. If you were on the high ground behind you, you'd be landing a few shots. If you were wall riding on this wall over here, you'd be able to land a few shots, get out of the way, kind of do a little guerrilla warfare, hit and move, hit and move. And then on top of that, if you've been wall riding over here and as they drop down, you might be able to boop them off the map, potentially. Like that, yeah, it would have looked better doing it my way, but same principle. So, you know, if you're wall riding around up here and you're kind of taking pot shots and kind of getting low so they can't hit you, then coming back up, and then they start to drop, you wall ride over here, wall ride here, now you're above them, and then you boop. That's kind of the principle of what I would be looking for from that, but you still got a boop, so good job. That's a good ping opportunity right there. Get to speed, help out your Moira. Flip a little quicker between speed and heal. I'd be back on... I'd probably be back on... I'd probably be wall riding over here right now is probably what I'd be doing. Or maybe on this pillar. This too. Maybe that. Or over there somewhere. It's probably where I would be. I don't really see the point of you just staying here. I get that you're kind of topping off the Orisa, but not very vital. You might consider trying to lead your shots a little bit more. I kind of feel like you're shooting like you're a hit scan. Yeah, now you're a little on the aggressive side. Now I would be playing point because that's just where your team wants to be. And it's not necessarily even a bad thing because you do have a sim with the sentries, you know, set up. So playing the point isn't necessarily the wrong move. I just don't think starting there would have been a good play for all of you. I think playing kind of where you're at right now to start the battle would have been a good move, and then just being quick to fall back to the point would have been more along the lines of what I would have liked to have seen. This isn't necessarily a knock on you, but more just team positioning as a whole. Yeah, you're gonna die there. So there's no reason to be doing this. Like, if that Moira were low, then I could have at least seen what you were trying to do. I don't really know what you're trying to do here, why you went out into this courtyard when you did it. And then you just asked for the Cassidy to kill you. But, like, if you were going to go out here, you gotta be more creative with it. So, like, jumping off of here, coming around here, you know, and I'm only saying to come around here so that you're not really taking any fire and you might even be able to be sneaky about it. And then you come up here, get to wall riding around here, and then you could kind of be shooting from up here. That probably would have been the play to do if you wanted to be out here. I'm not suggesting you be out here, though. I think you should have just stayed on the point now that they're, like, in this courtyard area. But, like, if you're gonna kind of flank and try to be annoying, you gotta be 100 times more creative than what this was, because this is just feeding.
Hey. Greetings. Hello. Yeah. Move it.
Okay, so good job. You're waiting for your team to come out of spawn. You're landing headshots, that's good. If you are going to play Lucio, heroes like Orisa are important to be able to land headshots on. Same with Roadhog, that's another one you should be hearing a lot of head hit marker sounds on. Aim a little higher. Try to always aim head level at Lucio. And if you're hearing a lot of body shots, start getting your aim up more. And as over time, if you're serious about playing Lucio, you'll kind of get what I mean when I say aim head level, because usually as a Lucio, when you aim, you're kind of doing like 1, 2, 3, 4. Like that's kind of how you're gonna shoot, like your shoot spread. Like you're gonna kind of depending on which one is your start. Like, but you want to spread out the shots. It's very rare that a Lucio is going to boop 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 in a straight line. It happens, but it's rare. You're usually trying to spread your shots out. So if you level them around a head level, you should land a bunch of hit marker sounds constantly. If you're getting body shot sounds, just raise it up a little bit until you start hearing head hit markers. Okay, that's an easy poop. So, oh wait, you do have it. So, alright. Lucio's beat drop. You got it, but you got it kind of late, so I get why you might not have wanted to use it there, because you were afraid you might die or something. Or at least I'm assuming that's why. Lucio's beat drop should be used to counter particular ultimates in the game. Genji Blade is like the most obvious one, but I've been using beat drop quite a bit on Orisa ultimates lately. Depending, of course, on how good the ultimate is and if I've got amp for speed boost. But the one thing I would like to see you do is when the Orisa ults, you gotta swap to speed or you gotta beat drop to get people out of that radius. So, because everybody gets sucked in, so speed them so they can get out. Or beat drop so that all the damage is negated and doesn't matter. One or the other. We didn't get any of that from you there, although I get why you might not have beat drop, but you gotta swap to speed song. So you're playing pretty close to the Orisa. You've got a whole circle of radius that you can be healing with. Make some space for yourself and get back. There's no damage drop off or anything like that. And on top of that, now the Orisa is being healed, so now you should be going after the healer, because there's a rule of thumb. It goes very well for Orisa. Goes well for most tanks, but Orisa is definitely, I think, what makes this rule a rule. Orisa doesn't die until the supports do, assuming the supports are healing the Orisa. So the Mercy's got to go before you even start shooting at the Orisa, because if they're armored up, you're not really doing anything to them. The boop was good. Yeah, alright. So because your team's all there... Yeah, this is a fight. Well, he just threw the grenade, but yeah, even this, I don't think I would pick this fight. Yeah, back out. What the hell is that?
Enemy down.
Okay. Fat finger, maybe? I don't know. So be careful how you poke. Right now, you don't need to be on the point. You can go back to that courtyard spot that you wanted to be at, or you can poke at them as they're coming back from spawn and then fall back to point as they get closer. But staying on the objective here is just allowing them to walk up to the point pretty much for free. So, like, where that javelin is right there, that's pretty much where I would expect all of you to be moving up to. And then because you still have the sim, just be quick to fall back to the point, and you've got the speed boost to make them capable of falling back quickly. And then play over here. But yeah, this is just giving up a lot of free space on the map right now, because you guys could be getting free picks or something. Yeah, this beat drop is probably not doing much, and then on top of that, your team sim wall, I don't know what they're trying to do with it. I like the enemy's sim wall, I just don't really like the one your sim did. Yeah, you gotta be very careful about diving Cassidy's. That's a hero you want to kind of stay away from, unless you know that their grenade has been used. Now, on top of that, look where your team is, look where you are. Nobody's in your circle radius. And on top of that, you're not even on the heal song. You're about half health. They're really low. So what I would be looking from you here is speeding along this wall, like grab onto it, jump when you hit the end of it, bounce back onto this wall, and then amp up healing when you get over here. And then maybe even give a boop to one of these 3 heroes just to do a little extra damage, and then fall back into the point. Close enough. I would suggest lowering your mouse sensitivity a little bit with Lucio. Maybe just do it in game, not lowering the entirety of your mouse sensitivity, but just like lowering it on Lucio. Everybody's mouse settings seem to be different, but the reason why I say that is your aim looks a little erratic to me. And I mean, if it works for you, it works for you, but I would consider lowering it a little bit until your accuracy is consistently in the mid-30s.
Push your limits. Nothing breaks that I can.
There's going to be games where it might be a little lower, and there might be games where you get into like the 40s, and then some of that's going to just depend on like what team comp you're up against and map type and all that. But if you can consistently get somewhere in the ballpark of 32 to 37% like between every game you play, that's when you know you've kind of found your sweet spot with mouse sensitivity, in my opinion. So, the thing I like to do, and sometimes this has been to my detriment, I'm not even gonna lie, but there's been other times it's done some nice things for me. But what I like to do is when I'm coming out of spawn, I'm wall riding, I bounce off of this wall, I get up here, bounce off of here, I get up here, I take out this wall just so it'll be easier for me to wall ride up here in the future. And then I wall ride around here, and depending on where the enemy's at the time, sometimes I'll punch this wall out too, other times I don't, and it's strictly based off of stealth reasons. If I'm here before the enemy team is here, then I'll punch the wall out. If they're getting here around the same time but aren't really looking at me yet, then I don't. And then what I'll do is I'll wall ride to here, I'll wall ride and get around to here. Now I'm behind the enemy team, and if anybody gets close to that well, boop, boop, and then you get them. Now, I will say one thing though, I've noticed a lot of these well games now, people are not playing close to that well, or maybe it's just my games, I don't know, but it's been pretty rare for me lately to get boops into the well, because so many opposing teams just aren't even playing close to this thing anymore. I did get a Roadhog 3 times over the New Year's break weekend though, and that game was a lot of fun, but that felt like an exception to what I've been normally seeing on this map. But I still do that rollout because it's a bit of a scout. Because when I'm doing this, I can ping and show my teammates, like, okay, this is what you're going to be up against. So I'm pinging, like, okay, you got Sigma and Moira and Tracer, and that's, maybe that's all I can get pinged at the time. But if they're paying attention to the pings, then they kind of know, okay, this is what we're up against. And then you just can come to, and then if that doesn't happen and they're not playing over there, you just wall ride back around and come back over here. Now, if they're looking for you and you do this, you can get picked doing this. This isn't like a completely free thing. It's rare that I get looked at doing this, but if it can happen. So I'm just putting that fair warning out there. It can happen that you could get picked doing that and you'll just look like an idiot doing it. It's happened to me enough that I feel like I owe you that warning, but it doesn't happen enough where I stop doing it entirely. I get away with that probably 80% of the time. And it's a good scouting mission. It's a good opportunity to potentially get a boop. Sometimes a tank can put a shield kind of shallow and then you can boop them in front of it. And then if you've got like sniper DPS, they might get a pick off of that. Or if there's a Roadhog, he might get a pick off of that. It's a way to support your team without healing. And I feel like that's a very underrated thing that doesn't get talked about so much. Anyway, let's go back to the VOD. Enough of our sidetrack. So, yeah, shooting at shields is okay, not the greatest. Yeah, so you're very grounded. This is a map where you pretty much could play the whole map without ever touching the ground, and you're not really wall riding at all. So what I would recommend you do is load up well specifically, but I'd say even just touch most of the Lucio, or not Lucio, the Ilios maps, and practice your wall riding to the point where you're barely ever touching the ground. But this map in particular, this map has a lot of smooth, round corners that are perfect for wall riding around. Okay. I'd like to have seen and heard more headshots there. That's also a little bit of a dangerous fight to pick, but you did have the sim with you, so it was fine, I guess. If you didn't have the sim with you, I would hope that you wouldn't have picked that fight. Maybe poke a little bit, but then use your speed song to get out. But yeah, the wall riding is the biggest thing I'm not seeing here that I was kind of hoping to see, so definitely got to start wall riding a lot more.
Hey. Need a moment to recharge.
Yeah, I mean, that boop basically just put her in a rough spot, so that's a good use of boop. Another thing I'd like to suggest for wall riding, you can hop inside of the well and wall ride around the rim of it, and that'll give you a bit of speed. More speed than you're getting just being on the ground about to eat or fire a rocket that's about to come at you. Oh, you dodged it. Good. So yeah, if you get onto that mill, you might be able to duel that Farah, or at least put a few shots into her. Don't be... Okay, you're frontlining a Reinhardt right now. You need to get away from there, like, ASAP. So, wall riding away... Yeah, you can't... Reins don't move from boops anymore. Most tanks don't, and I think that's a big part of why booping people into the well is getting harder now. Unless they're, like, right up on it. But a Reinhardt likely will never be right up on the well. Unless he's like really getting sucked into a battle and just losing track of where he's at. But You're not going to boop a Reinhardt into the well. I would say it's like probably just one of those things that's not going to happen unless the Rein's just really, really bad. So what you're doing here isn't going to work, and you're probably going to die. Yeah. What you could have done, just to throw a suggestion out there, is you could have backwards wall road this way back up and get up here, and then from there you could go like here, and then you could go back to here and then be up here, and now Ryan and Moira and all that can't do anything to you. The Pharah could though, and then you'd have to try to get away from her, but could have been a way out. Honestly, I'm not sure if that would have gotten you out or not though. Depends if the Pharah is paying attention or not. So, okay, you know your team just died. Just wait for them. Don't amp up your speed song. Because they've got the point, so I don't know what you're hoping to do here. So you could be speeding your team out of spawn. Yeah, aim a little higher. Those could have been headshots. Reaper's an easy one to land headshots on. Another thing I like to do on this map is I like to take these fences out in between fights, assuming you win the first fight, or if I feel like I can get over here, knock out the fence, and then get out, because it's a spot where you can get a boop at. You know, it's just, you want to leave these spots available for you if you can, you know, if the opportunity presents itself. So yeah, I like to knock those fences out. Speed. That would have been a great opportunity to speed your team in to get them through that shield faster. I feel like you just booped that Reaper into your team. Yeah, that felt a little sloppy. You got to be careful with the booping of Reaper ults and anybody who's basically ulting in general. I'm not sure if you would have killed that Ashe or not. What? Oh, you're just booping them back because it's 99 and 100. Okay, got it. All right, yeah, all right. So, all right, number one. Wall ride. You're not wall riding nearly enough, especially on well. So wall riding is your number one improvement. Two, we never even saw a beat drop on the second point, did we? I don't remember if we even got an ultimate from you. So, okay. Aim high. I got cut off on screen space. Aim higher. And 3 is going to be, I guess I'm just going to say your positioning. Part of that kind of goes into wall riding though, but you're on the ground way too much. You dove into the courtyard. I'm going to say take space. Like you and your team sat on the first point when they should have been moving up to some degree. If you are going to go on a flank, use your mobility to your advantage. You weren't really doing that, and that kind of goes into the take space positioning thing as well. So yeah, I think that's what I got for you on this one. This one's going to be a little bit of a shorter VOD review, but it's a shorter game, so that's what happens. Anyway, I hope this was helpful for you guys, and I'll catch you on the next one. Thank you for watching.